Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's Saturday Night Live. No, it's shoot. Oh my gosh. I haven't even had a sip of wine yet. Here. Cheers. It's Sunday night service. Sunday night service with Dani and Kelley Shannon tonight.
Not okay? Dr. Motley.
Dr. Motley is still out of town, for crying out loud. He is doing something. What is he doing? You told me.
He was at a supplement. No. What was it? I shouldn't even say that. That's wrong.
I don't know what he's doing. I have not seen him physically since September.
I forget.
It's ridiculous. Since our last time here, he's been all over the place. But we are talking adrenal dysfunction tonight. Hello, Rhonda. Hello, Denise. Hello, Amy. All of you guys, as soon as you get logged on, hit your heart button so we know you're here. Hit your like button so we know you're here, and tell us where you're from and all that great stuff. But we're talking adrenal fatigue. Do you know that stress will kill you? Hands down, will kill you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. It sure will. We know that.
Absolutely.
And we're going to talk about it tonight. It's how you manage stress, though, during these times of stress that get you through. Okay. So, but stress absolutely will kill you. It will destroy you. It is as simple as that. You can't sugarcoat it. No way in between. All right. 75 to 90% of all medical office visits are for stress related issues. 75 to 90%. For those of you that don't know, Kelley Shannon's been one of my friends for years, and she owns Kelley Shannon Wellness.
Yes, I do.
Actually, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Kelley Shannon Wellness is one of the greatest, not gyms. No. It's
a little wellness center. I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk
She's going to talk about it tonight.
Yeah.
We're talking about exercise. That's why I brought her here tonight. 75 to 90% of all medical visits are related to stress. 43% of all adults suffer adverse health effects from stress. And I think it's actually more than that.
I would agree.
The CDC reports that 11% of Americans 12 and older take an antidepressant. 400% increase from the 1980s. Approximately 203 million prescriptions in 2011 were written just for an antidepressant. That doesn't include anti-anxiety, which we talked about on Friday night at the Lunch and Learn at my office on benzodiazepines. Approximately 63 million prescriptions for Xanax and Ativan were written in 2011. Xanax is the #1 psychiatric medication that is written. Okay, it is highly addictive. And again, if you didn't watch the benzodiazepine Lunch and Learn, and it was live, and so it's on here, you need to watch it. And the journey of my friend Donna West and her journey of coming off of Xanax. Anxiety.
How did she do that? How did she?
She went into Cumberland Heights. We worked for 3 years to get her off of Xanax, and it didn't work. 13% of all teens aged 9 to 17 have an anxiety disorder. 1 in 8 adolescents have depression. Okay. 75% of adults reported experiencing moderate to high levels of stress in the past month, and nearly half reported that their stress has increased in the past year. Okay. 1 in 75 people may experience panic disorder. Stress is a top health concern for teenagers between the ages of 9th and 12th grade. Psychologists say that if they don't learn how to deal with stress effectively and healthy, it could have a serious long-term health implications. Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're already having health implications. Look at them. Well, I mean, they're on anxiety meds, they're on depression meds, they're on, they can't go to school because they're having panic disorders. I mean, one thing after another.
Of trouble.
Oh, I know. All right, guys. So if you're just logging on, we're talking adrenal fatigue, adrenal dysfunction tonight. The American Endocrinology Association, the Association of Endocrinologists, believe that there is no such thing as adrenal fatigue, right? This came out of Endocrine News, September of 2017. You can't see my living room, but my living room is destroyed over here with 50 pounds of papers. And I was looking for this one article that a patient had brought me. She picked up in her endocrinologist office. And I'm going to read just a few highlights here of what they feel about adrenal fatigue. And I don't call it adrenal fatigue. I call it adrenal dysfunction, actually. So basically it says that there is no proof at all that there's any such thing as adrenal fatigue. So she says, even though there's no such thing, our role is to be good, active listeners to determine if there's a true medical disorder lurking behind their complaints. The fallacy of this logic is that there is no evidence that the stress of day-to-day life could have any such effect on the adrenals. Endocrinologists believe correctly, and they have to put correctly in there, that under stress, your adrenals work harder and make more cortisol, not less cortisol, says Theodore C. Friedman, MD. He's the chief of endocrinology, right? And all of this. He's got a big, long thing out here. Friedman says that the patients may be given the diagnosis by a naturopath, a chiropractor, a functional medicine doctor, and anti-aging doctors.
I didn't believe that naturopaths were they diagnose anything.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. But what they're saying is this diagnosis is given by quacks. Okay. Quacks. That's what they're saying here. That nobody of any sense whatsoever would ever tell somebody they have adrenal fatigue because it doesn't exist. Okay. There's no substantiation that adrenal fatigue is an actual medical condition. Therefore, adrenal fatigue is still a myth. Okay. Again, I suggest that we work with the patient's primary care person to exclude potential disorders such as anemia, obstructive sleep apnea, irritable bowel, all those things that we work with. Okay. So they say, again, they call it the couch potato syndrome. They actually say this. This is what they're calling you as patients, right? They're calling you couch potatoes. What I call this is the couch potato syndrome, meaning that people get deconditioned if they don't exercise, a disorder of modern life that could be called, in quotes, life is hard syndrome, in quotes. This is coming from an endocrinologist, people. If this doesn't make you furious, I don't know what does. Many people, in fact, are stressed to the point of not taking care of themselves. For these patients, the recommendations of naturopaths have value, that they may emphasize adopting a better lifestyle and all of that stuff. Okay. So it goes on and on and on and talks about how naturopaths are quacks and naturopathic physicians and chiropractors and all that stuff. And there's no such thing. It's just couch potato syndrome and life is hard. Okay. Get over it. So there is no such thing as adrenal fatigue right here. That comes right from the Endocrine News, September 2017. Okay. Isn't that something? All right. So what are the adrenals and what is adrenal fatigue? All right, guys, as you get logged on, click your buttons, click your heart buttons, your like buttons, and all that good stuff. Okay. Your adrenals sit on top of your kidneys. They're right behind you here, right on top of your kidneys, right there. They're under the 12th rib and they're shaped like little triangles, kind of like that right there. And they're about the size of walnuts. And what those adrenals do, holy cow. The exact purpose of your adrenals is to enable your body to deal with stress from everyday stressors, from every possible source: life, work, jobs, husbands, ex-husbands, children, family stressors, financial stressors, things like that. Okay, that's their job. They shoot out cortisol. They shoot out cortisol, epinephrine, norepinephrine, DHEA, pregnenolone, progesterone, sex hormones, aldosterone. I mean, they make over 50 hormones. These little bitty triangle-shaped glands do. I mean, you can't live without them. I mean, you have to be on cortisol the rest of your life if something happens to them. So the whole pathophys behind adrenals, we're not going to get into tonight because I know you guys are worried about, you want to know what are we going to do about this and what are the symptoms of it. But your adrenal glands also help monitor and help balance blood sugar. Big part of balancing blood sugar and oh good Lord, blood sugar. What kind of stressors are going to affect your adrenals? Well, everyday life, right? We already talked about that, the stress of everyday life, the death of a loved one. This is good stress and bad stress. So it can be pregnancy. That can be good. It can also be bad, right? Marriage can be good, can be bad. Divorce can be a great thing. It can be a bad thing. Those are all things that affect your adrenals. Childbirth, lack of sleep, negative attitudes, fear, coffee, caffeine, and sugar. even white wine, because it's loaded with sugar, actually.
Right.
Lack of good food, right? If you're eating processed, packaged, bagged, canned, tubed, fake food, smoking, allergies, social isolation, huge. One of the big, death by social isolation is increasing drastically. In fact, it was just on the news this week. I shared it. Many of you commented on my post on Instagram about it. So social isolation is killing us. Absolutely. We are the loneliest society ever. And I think it was something like 70% of Nashvillians reported that they're lonely, and they don't even have one person to reach out to.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Super
right?
sad. That shouldn't be that way.
So what are some adrenal dysfunction symptoms? I don't call it adrenal fatigue. I call it dysfunction. Again, people don't believe that it exists, but what are some of the symptoms? You have a hard time waking up in the morning. This is a really big one for my patients. They don't wake up as easily as they used to in the morning. You're sluggish in the morning. Maybe you don't even feel good to 10 or 11. Then you start to wake up and you feel pretty good for a couple hours. Then you crash after lunch, and then you boom, come back to life after dinner. That's called like wired but tired. That's a big symptom of adrenal dysfunction. Fatigue that is not relieved by sleep. You may get 7, 8, 9, 10 hours sleep, and you don't feel any better in the morning. You're craving salty foods, right? Pretzels, chips, salt, pickles, anything like that. Increased effort to do your daily task. Basically, you just feel like you're going through mud, right? It's just barely getting through. Decreased sex drive. Now, there's lots of reasons for decreased sex drive, and we've talked a lot about that on Sunday night service, right? It's way more than testosterone. Yeah, I love to talk about sex drive. Decreased ability to handle stress, right? You get easily irritated. You have a short fuse. You're startled. You have a really big startle reflex, right? Those are symptoms that your adrenals may not be functioning properly. You have recurrent upper respiratory infections. This is something I recently just learned.
I didn't know that.
Bronchitis.
Interesting.
Sinusitis, upper respiratory infections. That's a big deal. And apparently a big trigger that your adrenals aren't working properly, right? Lightheaded when you stand up too fast. Mild depression, increased PMS, increased symptoms if your meals are missed, right? Decreased tolerance overall. You feel better after your evening meal. Also, your blood pressure going up.
Is that a blood sugar thing?
Yes. Yeah. Better after the evening meal, blood sugar. Yeah. Blood pressure going up, blood pressure going up, blood pressure going up. I've got a patient, I don't think she's watching tonight, but about 2 years ago, when she first came to me, her blood pressure was through the roof, and her cortisol levels on her saliva test, cortisol levels were just off the charts. And she had a doctor out in Colorado as well that she saw both of us. And she had an MD in Colorado, and she had a nurse practitioner in Nashville. And we both kept trying to get it better and couldn't do it. And I told her, I said, girl, something's wrong. I don't know what it is, but your blood pressure's through the roof and your cortisol's off the charts. And everything that I did, and she took every pill I had, nothing was helping. I said, we got to get you over to endocrinology. We've got to get somebody to believe that something's wrong. Well, sure enough, she had an endocrine tumor. Only one I've ever had. Probably won't ever have another one. I talked to Dr. Edwin Lee down in Orlando. I actually sent her down to Orlando to Dr. Lee. He said, you'll probably never see another one. They cut her entire adrenal gland out. They cut you all the way across. It's a huge surgery. And they took the adrenal gland out. Blood pressure normalized, but of course now she has one adrenal gland. So she's on cortisol. And she's trying to wake up the other adrenal gland. But she had an adrenal tumor for years before it was ever diagnosed. And she says, oh my gosh, you saved my life. You said, and maybe I did, but all I knew was something was wrong and I couldn't get it right. I gave her about 6 months, could not get it right. And I said, you got to go somewhere else because I don't know what's going on. And sure enough, it was a tumor.
Oh my gosh.
And so then you have adrenal dysfunction that the medical community does not believe in. They believe in Addison's disease and Cushing's disease. Okay. So Addison's is where you have no cortisol, just flatlined. In fact, gosh, I wish I had the girls' labs today. Her labs tomorrow are just flatlined. Cortisol levels, spit tests, nothing there whatsoever. That is Addison's disease. Rare.
So what do you do about that?
Well, you don't. You have to be on cortisol the rest of your life if you have Addison's disease. So you can't fix that with any sort of supplement.
Wow.
That is 100% you're on medicine the rest of your life. Cushing's disease is too much cortisol. blood pressure through the roof, cortisol off the charts. That's an adrenal tumor creating, or it could be an adrenal tumor creating way too much cortisol. And then they do all kinds of things medically, pharmaceutically. These are things that you do not use supplements on. You need to be an endocrinologist and they deal with that. Those are rare. They don't happen that often, but they definitely happen. Addison's and Cushing's. The majority of the people have something in between called adrenal dysfunction, which I believe, after treating thousands of patients, almost a decade, exists, because I watch patients feel better every single day when I start them on an adrenal protocol. We're going to talk about the nutrient side of it first. If you guys don't have your pen and paper out, you're going to want to get this out, get your pen and paper out, because we're getting ready to take notes, you all are. And if you have any questions, post them up here. Yeah, Teresa. Yeah, your adrenals should be dead. So I know. Teresa's on. Teresa Benzer's on. Oh. Yeah, no, Teresa Benzer. Yeah, Teresa Gentry. Okay, guys. So we're going to start taking it. What are we going to do about it? We're going to talk about diet, sleep, and exercise after we talk about the nutrients first. Normally, I go into lifestyle, but first, in case people have to get off here, we're going to get right into the nutrient, the minerals, and the herb treatment side of it. Do you know that 30 million Americans are deficient in B6. 18 million Americans are deficient in B12. Whoa. Bs are so important for the adrenal glands. B5 and B6 specifically, those are huge for the adrenals. B6 is essential in the production of serotonin, dopamine, melatonin, hemoglobin, and converting tryptophan over to niacin. Like B6 is hands down one of the biggest B vitamins of the adrenals.
I think you probably need a bigger bottle.
Yeah, no. It's a cofactor in several enzymatic pathways as well in the adrenal cascade, right? The HPA cascade. Lack of dream recall can be a B6 deficiency, right? So many times when I add in just B5, B6 here, they start dreaming again. It's fascinating to watch. Oh, I know. That's really cool. And then you have B5, right? That's responsible for energy production. B5 converts into acetyl-CoA, which is a substance, right? It's absolutely critical for converting glucose to energy in your body. Okay. So what are we going to do about it? I've used this same one, and I don't know if Angela's watching tonight, my rep. Hello, Kathleen from Indiana. Brooke's watching. Good. Because I'm going to talk about Brooke tonight, because we're talking about some of Zymogen's products. This product from Metagenics is B5 and B6, high dose B5, B6, exactly what we need for adrenals. But the beauty of this one is it's also got in some bioflavonoids. It's got in a little bit of vitamin C, some magnesium, and a tiny bit of calcium. I'm not a huge fan of calcium, but B5, B6, I put patients on 2 of these in the morning, 1 at lunch. If you're going to take it separately, write this down. B5, which is pantothenic acid, you need at least 1,500 milligrams a day. On B6, which is peroxidine, you need at least 50 to 100 milligrams a day. So on B6 here, you're going to get 300 milligrams a day when you do this, 3 pills a day. Okay. I'm a huge fan of B5, B6. Now, this is expensive. It's $60-something, but it lasts you almost 3 months. Well, probably 2 months. It lasts you about 2 months. So it's $30 a month.
Why just take it at breakfast and lunch?
Yeah, because bees give you tons of energy. Yeah. So you don't want it.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
2 in the morning, 1 at lunch. Gotcha. Yep. Okay. So also that's B5 and B6. A B complex, I'm a huge fan of a B complex, and I just dropped my whole thing here. I'm a huge fan of Zymogen's B Active. I think it works better than any B complex that I have ever used. A patient actually turned me on to this, Dr. Chad Yarborough. Hi, Chad. Chad's not on here. Dr. Chad Yarborough used it with a patient of mine, and she came to me and she said, "This is way better than the B complex you're using, Dani. You need to switch over." Oh, wow. And so I credit Chad for this, but this is B Active. So you want all of your Bs. When you take any high doses of any 1 or 2 B vitamins, you run the risk of depleting your other Bs, right? 1, 2, 3, 9, all the Bs in there. So a good B complex that's got some niacin in it is going to actually help complement the B5 and the B6. Now, some people, all they need is a B complex. They don't need all this other stuff on here. 1 or 2 a day. I usually just tell people take it 1 a day. And again, all the Bs you want to take in the morning or early afternoon because they're going to cause a lot of energy and you don't want to be up at night. Okay. So B complex, B6, B5, vitamin C. Okay. So here's the thing about vitamin C. Vitamin C most likely is probably the most important mineral that we've got in our adrenals. We are the only mammals who don't make vitamin C, but we store it in our adrenal glands. So when you're adrenally fatigued, right, you may get sick quicker than others. You may stay sick longer than others, things like that. B6, vitamin C, we burn through it when we're under stress. It just, the levels rapidly decline when you're under any stress at all, good or bad. It's water soluble, just like B's. So you can keep dosing it, keep dosing it, keep dosing it. Of all the B vitamins, Dr. Wilson, who wrote the big book, Adrenal Fatigue, which they really poo-pooed in that article I was showing you from the Endocrine Society. This book right here has been around a long time, and it's a fabulous book. He says that vitamin C is probably the most important for adrenal function. The more cortisol is made, the more vitamin C that is used. And we know that vitamin C is used along the whole adrenal cascade, and it's an amazing antioxidant. So what do antioxidants do? Antioxidants mop up all the free radicals in your body. So they're going to get rid of the rusty pipes and things like that. Okay. It increases adrenal function. It stimulates the immune function, right? Dr. Linus Pauling, the Linus Pauling Institute, which if anybody knows anything about vitamin C, or you don't know anything about vitamin C, you really want to study Dr. Pauling. He was the leader in vitamin C in the world. He says that there's no conclusive evidence that bioflavonoids increase vitamin C absorption. I use straight up buffered vitamin C ascorbic acid. It's got a tiny bit of calcium, a little bit of magnesium in here that help it absorb a little bit better, but I don't have any bioflavonoids in it. The research does not pan out on that you need the bioflavonoids, and this is dirt cheap, $17. And so the dosing, when you're going, also, if you know you're going to be up late, or you're going to be under increased stress, or you feel like you're getting sick, always raise your vitamin C levels up, okay? But usually it's 1,000 milligrams or 2,000 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day. Your sweet spot is generally somewhere between 2 and 4,000 milligrams a day, could be more. The way you find your sweet spot is with diarrhea, bowel tolerance. So you're going to take it until you have diarrhea. Then you're going to back off about 500 milligrams or 1,000. Yeah, hopefully. And then you're going to back off. But if you need more than 4,000 milligrams, then keep taking it, because that tells me you've got some adrenal stress going on. All right. 15.7 million Americans have got a vitamin C deficiency. And I didn't know that when your gums bleed, when you're brushing your teeth, it could easily be a vitamin C deficiency. I found that out. So as a rule, also, if you're on blood thinners, you really want to pay attention to this, and you want to talk to your doctor about it, right? Because vitamin C is going to thin the blood, as is vitamin E. So you do not want to run into that risk whatsoever. Now, my dad was on Coumadin forever, which is rat poison. You know, the active ingredients in Coumadin is what they use in rat poison. It's the ingredient in rat poison that kills rats, but it also thins your blood. So he chose to take Coumadin. Maybe it saved his life. I don't know. We're not going to go down that road. But anyway, so check with your healthcare provider. 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams a day. Start there. Bump up if you need to. If you need less, bring it down. But you don't have to buy expensive vitamin C. Some people like powder. I don't. My patients don't like it. We tried it in there. They wouldn't buy it. They didn't like it. So we sell just the plain cheap capsules. 2 capsules is 1,000 milligrams, and I pop this 2 or 3 times a day. Yes, what we're going to say.
I was just going to ask if there's a bunch of different types of vitamin C.
All you need is straight up buffered vitamin C, so it doesn't upset the stomach.
Gotcha.
You don't need anything fancy whatsoever. And then vitamin E. So vitamin E doesn't actually have anything to do with the adrenal cascade. And I forgot vitamin E when I went to the office this afternoon. But what vitamin E does, so as your adrenals start pumping out more cortisol, what it does is that generates free radicals in your body. Okay. So the vitamin E comes in mops up those free radicals that you're creating and helps decrease those rusty pipes. Vitamin E is an amazing antioxidant. It's also good for your skin. It's good for all kinds of things. It's anti-aging. See, I'd put there that vitamin E and vitamin C are enhanced together. So when you're using vitamins E, and I don't have mine here, you don't want just plain, you want mixed tocopherols, not just one tocopherol. You want them mixed, okay? So multiple tocopherols in there, 400 to 800 international units a day, IUs. He recommends 800 IUs. I usually start people off on 400. He says use 800 IUs for 3 months. It takes at least 3 months to see a improvement on vitamin E. But again, if you're on blood thinners and you're taking vitamin C and E, you've got to monitor your blood thinning levels, your blood levels, okay? B5, B6, vitamin C, vitamin E, B complex. That's getting started. Those are some nutrients of the adrenals right there. He recommends calcium. I'm not a huge fan of calcium because calcium builds up in the arteries, and I'm not a big fan of calcium because then you have to add in vitamin K27. So I'd rather just take K27. But what calcium helps, what it does for your adrenals, it helps you settle your nervous system and other functions in there. But he says it's best taken with magnesium and maybe alternate your days on calcium. 750 to 1,000 milligrams a day is what's recommended. Again, I'm not a big fan of calcium. I'm a big fan of increasing your green leafy vegetables, right? Your sesame seeds, your tahini, your hummus. Sesame seeds have got a tremendous amount of calcium in them. Your nuts, your sea vegetables such as kelp. It's got a lot of calcium in it, right? Bone broths that are made from like beef bones or fish bones have got a lot of calcium in them. So drink your bone broth. Trace minerals. So B5, B6, B complex, vitamin C, vitamin E, a little bit of calcium. Trace minerals. Big fan of trace minerals. Yeah, I love trace minerals. And they are so inexpensive. Like this big bottle is $24 and it lasts, it lasts for months and months right here. This does. Okay. So most of us are deficient. So if you don't know what trace minerals are, zinc, copper, magnesium, manganese, molybdenum, selenium. What else?
Iodine?
Iodine's not so much in here. Chromium. I don't know if I said chromium. That's the bulk of what's in here. I mean, there's way more than there's a little bit of lithium in here, which is fantastic. I mean, who's gonna, a tiny bit of lithium, 1.5 milligrams, but I mean, we actually need more than that. Most people you take your trace minerals with your evening meal. They're better taken with food. Okay.
For absorption.
For absorption. All right. And I think that Trace Minerals brand is actually the best on the market. I love their iodine. They do a lot. They do a great magnesium spray. They do a magnesium liquid. They are absolutely loaded.
So half a teaspoon with dinner.
Yep. And then, okay.
Is there a taste?
Fiber. Yeah, it tastes like the ocean. So you want to put it with water or something in it. So fiber. Fiber prevents bile from becoming toxic in your large intestine. So here's the reason that they recommend fiber: to bind up the bile and the toxins that your liver starts to dump after your adrenals actually start functioning properly. So you want something to bind up all those toxins and to pull it out. And a good fiber will do that. Okay, you can use psyllium husk, flax seeds. I use True Fiber in the office. I love this fiber because it has inulin in it. It's all soluble fiber. It's nothing fake in it. It's got all kinds of enzymes in it as well that help break down food. I love this fiber. I just think it works. This fiber helps your probiotics work better actually in your body. So that's a big deal. Be very selective on your fiber. All right. You want to make sure that there's nothing artificial in it here. I love this one. This actually comes from the same people who make our probiotic, Theralac, True Flora, and make our digestive enzyme that we use, Enzalase. We use a lot of enzymes in probiotics, but I've used this fiber for about 10 years and it works with patients. So B5, B6, multivitamin. Multivitamin, B complex, vitamin C, vitamin E, trace minerals, fiber, magnesium, calcium, okay? Little bit of magnesium. He recommends 400 milligrams of magnesium. I personally take 500 milligrams of magnesium every single night. I use magnesium glycinate because it gets into the cells, helps you poop better, it helps decrease tension, right, in your shoulders. It's a smooth muscle relaxer, helps with migraine headaches, helps you sleep at night, helps with restless legs, the whole thing. If you can't sleep at night, your adrenals are going to be working on overdrive. Yes, everybody loves magnesium, hands down. I love magnesium. I think it's one of the greatest. About 80% of the United States population is deficient in magnesium. I love Zymogen's magnesium. I think it works. I've gone through multiple magnesiums. I use their glycinate chelate. I use Metagenics magnesium threonate, as well as Zymogen's magnesium threonate. That's a powder. Threonate helps with memory, and it crosses the blood-brain barrier, they say. So I'm a big fan of magnesium. And guess what?
What?
Iron is the most common nutrient deficiency in the world.
Not surprised.
2 billion people have an iron
anemia
deficiency.
It's scary.
2 billion people have an iron deficiency in the world. So you've got to have some iron. And the most common iron deficiency, actually, I'm opening this up for Ella. I just checked all her labs, and she's got a horrible D3 deficiency in iron. My kid, of course, if you take your stuff, they don't work in the bottle. You got to take them. That's what I tell her every day. These things don't work in the bottle. Oh, look, this is an easy iron. Holy crap. This is a Zymogen iron. I haven't looked at it because I haven't had no reason to. That is teeny tiny. In fact, I think I'll take one. Why not? You want some iron?
Sure.
Okay, here, take one. It's not going to hurt you.
No.
I mean, don't take this unless you know you don't have iron overload or something, but iron. So let me tell you about iron deficiency, people. Restless legs, hair loss, dry skin, eyebrows falling out, shortness of breath, like air hunger, like you feel like you can't catch a big breath kind of thing. Brittle nails breaking off. Memory issues, those are all fatigue. Those are all symptoms of low iron. Have your ferritin checked, have your iron checked. I have a brand new patient tomorrow coming in. She just had labs checked in, I don't know, July or something from somewhere else. Her ferritin is 9.
What's your
normal is 10 to 250 or something. I don't know. 9.
Normal.
Not one comment on her thing about her iron level, about her ferritin level. And her iron was actually low too. Ferritin's your iron stores. So again, your adrenals do need a little bit of iron to function properly. But so we're talking about the nutrients of the adrenals, B5, B6. Good gosh, this alone right here is one of my all-time favorites. I mean, just straight up if you're stressed, B5, B6, vitamin C, vitamin E, trace minerals. I know Harlan's going crazy over here. A B complex. What else? Magnesium, fiber. Okay. If you have to just narrow it down, I'm a big believer in B5, B6, vitamin C, vitamin E, and trace minerals. Those 4 things. Those are the nutrients. Then we get into my favorite. Oh my gosh.
I'm your favorite.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you haven't helped my adrenals. The adaptogens. I am such a huge fan of adaptogens. Adaptogens have been used for thousands of years, probably millions of years, out there. I am a big fan. Anybody who knows me knows I use a ton of herbal medicine in the office. And so what is an adaptogen? An adaptogen is exactly what it says. It's a normalizer. It adapts. It helps you adapt to whatever's going on. If you have high cortisol, many adaptogens will bring down your cortisol levels. If you have low cortisol, it'll help bring up your cortisol levels. All right. They adapt to the situation. Remember what the title of this is? What is the title? Those who adapt thrive. It's a fact. Okay. And that's what adaptogens do. Adaptogens are grown in very harsh environments where they have to learn to thrive.
Mhm.
Some are grown in India, some are grown all over. I mean, in the often where it's really cold, where it's really hot. So they have to learn to adapt. Okay, they're going to increase your endurance, your fatigue, all the things, your memory. I mean, I'm telling you, it's fascinating on adaptogens. So what we're going to do. Oh, Brooke is on. Oh, Brooke, do you believe in testing or showing symptoms before? Okay, we're going to talk about that actually, Brooke, about testing. Actually, let's go ahead and talk about that right now.
I was going to.
Either way, and I forgot the saliva test that I use at the office. Either way. So some people say, I don't want to spend the $115, $120 for the adrenal test, Dani. Let's just start working on my adrenals. So when people do that, I say, okay, what am I going to use that's not going to hurt you no matter what, whether you have high or low cortisol, right? Because if you don't test, you don't know. So I use B5, B6, vitamin C, vitamin E, your magnesium, your iron. I already know if you have low iron or not, so I'll do that. I'll put in all the nutrients for sure, because those aren't going to hurt you one way or the other. And then when it comes to adrenal adaptogens, here's what I'll use. I will use ashwagandha, because you can use it for high or low cortisol, and I don't have to know. So we'll go ahead and start with this one, Brooke, since you kind of led into it. Ashwagandha, Withania somnifera. That's what the technical term is for this, right? This is a calming adaptogen. If anybody has used ashwagandha, hit your heart buttons here. I love ashwagandha. You can use it for high or low cortisol, okay? It helps, of course, under increased times like acute stress, chronic high cortisol. Like my patient that I said she had high cortisol forever, I had her on this. It didn't help because she had a tumor, so it didn't help at all, but I had her on it. Anxiety, chronic pain. It improves resilience, right? Improves thyroid function. Ashwagandha is one of the things I use. It helps convert T4 to T3 in your thyroid, so it gives you more energy. T3 is the gas pedal of your body, right? So it helps with that. Helps with insomnia. Somniferia, the actual clinical term for this, somniferia means slumber, sleep. So this helps you sleep. Patients who have insomnia and adrenal issues, I have them take all of it at night when they go to bed. Boom, helps them sleep. Low body weight, muscle weakness, high stress, overwork, immune function. It's anti-aging. It is one of the greatest adaptogens out there. Ashwagandha is probably my number one, what I use in the office, because I treat more thyroid than I do anything in the office. So I use a lot of it. Now, it is also a nightshade as well as an adaptogen. Some people have issues with the nightshades. Most people do not, though. I can tell you that off the top. Most people do not have, but some do, right? We use it for the people who are wired but tired, right? They're so excited at night, they're so wound up at night, they're exhausted. It helps lower nighttime cortisol. It helps you sleep. Stressed out individuals. Also, we use it for patients. I have really been using it a lot the past couple of years for patients who have insulin resistance, or they're diabetic, or they're pre-diabetic. Ashwagandha lowers glucose levels. Yes, it is phenomenal for that. I add it in with, of course, cinnamon and chromium and green tea extract and all those things as well. I have a fabulous product from Zymogen that works for blood sugar. Usually around 400 milligrams twice a day is what we use. And I'm telling you, it works unbelievable. Ashwagandha, it's an adaptogen, okay? Then we have, so we're going to use things that you can use with high or low cortisol. We're going to talk about that first. Ashwagandha as well, it helps build muscle. It helps with GABA. It helps create more GABA in your body, right? It relieves muscle pain as well. Okay, let's see, because I'm kind of going backwards here on what I was going to do. Holy basil. Woo! Who's used holy basil before? Anybody? Holy basil.
Hey, where's ashwagandha? How do you say it?
Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha. Where's it from?
Well, it's in all different places. We actually can grow ashwagandha here in the United States, but there's they grow their ashwagandha for Gaia herbs is grown in North Carolina, maybe some in India as well. Okay. I mean, theirs is organic. So any of the Gaia herbs are going to be as organic. If they can get them all organic, they're going to be organic. And many of them, they grow themselves. I'm a huge fan of Gaia herbs. Holy basil. Holy basil, I love. It's been around forever. Tulsi tea. If you've ever drank Tulsi tea, that's holy basil. So it's very calming, right? Promotes well-being. It's anti-inflammatory. It's been used in India for thousands of years for the common cold, asthma, fever, headaches, inflammation, arthritis, lowering blood sugar, hypolipidemic, meaning for cholesterol. All right. And is analgesic for pain. It decreases histamine in the body by inhibiting mast cells. So those of you who deal with histamine intolerance, you eat foods and you have histamine reactions, you have bad allergies, holy basil. Holy basil. And that was something I learned. Holy basil tea is like calm in a cup, Dr. Taroni Low Dog says. It has an anti-anxiety as well as an antidepressant effect on the body. It's great for people in transition, new jobs, just got a divorce, just got married, just had a baby. Well, you wouldn't do it with nursing, but you know, if you had just had a baby, etc.
New job.
Holy basil. Well, yeah, new job. I said that first thing. Yeah, new job, new job, new job, new job. Yes. Holy basil is great. 100 to 400 milligrams, 1 to 3 times a day. Now here it's just 1 capsule twice a day between meals. So always read your bottle, people. We get so many phone calls in the office. When should I take this? Well, what does the bottle say? I don't know. I mean, many times I know amino acids you want to take with food, things like that. But I mean, you know, read the bottle, it'll tell you. Holy basil, again, an amazing, amazing adaptogen. Let me see if I've written anything else. Yeah, it's an antioxidant, blood sugar, helps your memory, helps your brain, things like that. So we talked about ashwagandha. You can use with high or low cortisol. Holy basil. You can use with high or low cortisol as well. Rhodiola, one of my all-time favorites right here. This one I've used. I personally used this one for a couple of years. Who's used rhodiola? Hit your buttons on that one. Hello from Indiana. Hello, Kathleen. Rhodiola. We have used rhodiola in Eastern Europe and Asia for more than 3,000 years that we know for increased energy, decreased depression, fights fatigue, as well as high altitude sickness. So you can use it in high doses for that. Acute and chronic stress, anxiety, PTSD, fibromyalgia, and joint pain. It is amazing for pain with patients. There's been a new, not too many years ago, a review that found that rhodiola may help the symptoms associated with menopause. Heck yes. Fatigue, anxiety, depression, cognitive decline, memory decline, decreased executive function, and stress intolerance. People, I'm telling you, when you start going through menopause, you think you're losing your dang mind. It's absolutely insane. So add a little rhodiola in, as well as some ginkgo, which we're getting ready to talk over here. But rhodiola works like a charm, right? It increases serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine as well, increases energy, decreases depression and anxiety, physical performance as well. So like if you exercise, and of course it's anti-stress. All right. 200 to 400 milligrams a day, usually in the morning and at noon. Now, if you're bipolar, you want to bypass rhodiola. Don't take it. It can exacerbate a bipolar. It can mania symptoms. So you take it in the morning and you take it at noon, because it could give you enough energy that you don't sleep at night. So you certainly don't want to do that. Ashwagandha you would take at night. You can take at night. Okay. So we have ashwagandha, rhodiola, holy basil, eleutherococcus. Eleutherococcus you can take if you have high or low cortisol. Now, I like eleutherococcus, and I took it for a long time as well, too, because I've been through a lot of stress the last 10 years. Eleutherococcus is for people who are under chronic long-term stress, right? They've been going through a divorce for years. They're raising kids alone for 15 years. They have aging parents with dementia or Alzheimer's, or their parents they're just making them crazy. They have an ex-husband that's driving them nuts. They're in a job they can't stand. People who have chronic long-term stress, if you don't know, choose Eleuthero. That's what I say with patients. That's what Dr. Low Dog says, and it works. It works to lower cortisol, but it works best by raising your cortisol, right? Helps the adrenal gland adapt without overstimulating. It's great for people with long-term stress, right? It improves your body's resistance to environmental stressors. Now, this is pretty interesting here. It's used with Russian workers, deep sea divers, Olympic athletes, and cosmonauts for stress and disease resistance, as well as increased work performance. It enhances the immune system. Okay. Eleutherococcus, 200 to 500 milligrams a day. All right, now so how are you going to choose what you're going to do? We're going to talk about that as well on here. Okay, the things you can use with high or low cortisol: ashwagandha, rhodiola, holy basil, eleutherococcus. Also ginkgo biloba. Ginkgo has become my new favorite friend for $20 and 104 months worth, because there's 100 in here, so it's 3 months and 10 days worth. Let me tell you about ginkgo, people. I started taking ginkgo, I don't know where my piece of paper is, right here, 3 months ago. Holy cow, my hot flashes went away. 100% went away. But I've been managing things better. I took it from memory because of my mom's diagnosis. I had no idea it takes your hot flashes away, but it's also an antioxidant and it mops up free radicals. What the hell? It protects the adrenals, the liver, and the brain. Wow. It's been around for millions of years.
That's awesome.
Ginkgo has. It's designed for your brain, but it helps everything else.
And it's a plant.
And it contains, all these are plants. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it contains bioflavonoids that improve blood flow to the brain, the ears, the eyes, the heart, and the extremities.
Nice.
So if you're dealing with blood flow problems to the extremities, try some ginkgo. It also helps alleviate the mood of those prone to depression and decreases mental fatigue. What the heck? As well as decreasing hot flashes. Who uses ginkgo? Apparently a lot of people do. There's a lot of hearts going up here. Ginkgo biloba, Dr. Wilson says twice a day, but I say once a day on here. The ginkgo that I use, guess what it has in it? I didn't know this till
holy
today.
Basil.
No, eleutherococcus. Eleuthero for people under chronic long-term stress. So my ginkgo has ginkgo biloba as well as eleutherococcus in it. So you're getting a double whammy, a 2-for-1 here. I love this. And it's $20 for 3 months worth. Who can't do that? Yeah, I think that's a big deal right there. Okay, so you can use all of those with high or low cortisol, right? What are you going to do if you have high cortisol, right? Low cortisol. Low cortisol. Licorice and ginseng. Now, I don't sell ginseng by itself, Korean ginseng, because it can cause a lot of problems in women. I use it, I just don't sell it by itself. So Panax ginseng works better for men than women. You only use it for low cortisol, and it also could increase your blood pressure. So you have to be careful with that. Ginseng and licorice, those are the two that you would not use with high cortisol. Now, licorice, I use a ton of licorice in the office, a ton of licorice. Licorice helps keep your cortisol around longer, right? It pulls it up if it's in the tanker, and it keeps it around longer. But it's also an antiviral. It's one of the heavy hitters for Epstein-Barr. It's one of the top 5 that you use for Epstein-Barr, and you use it in pretty high doses, right? It increases energy, endurance, and vitality. It also helps with hypoglycemia. Licorice will help lower your blood sugar, but it also raises your blood pressure. It's possible. So yeah, I don't use it with patients with high blood pressure at all or high cortisol. So you would never use licorice with high cortisol or ginseng with high cortisol, okay? I use the one from Metagenics. I love Licorice Plus because I can't see. It has licorice. It also has ashwagandha in it. And then it's got all this other stuff, Chinese yam and some other things in it that I can't pronounce. And it works beautifully. But again, this is kind of a double whammy that we use for Epstein-Barr as well. So your adrenals, you're going to use ashwagandha, holy basil, rhodiola, eleutherococcus, ginkgo biloba for low cortisol, or licorice. Add that in as well. And you're going to use all of those except licorice for high cortisol. If you don't want to take 1,000 pills in one day, you can use HPA Axis from Gaia. It has ashwagandha, holy basil, rhodiola, eleutherococcus in it. And it also actually has milky oat seed in it. Yeah, milky seed in it. Good Lord, Dani. It is absolutely, it has Shashandra in it as well, which we didn't even talk about. It's fantastic. I've used this for 8 years and it's been around forever.
How
and
much
works.
What's the
It's 2 pills twice a day. I mean, you have to take 4 pills a day, but it works absolutely beautifully. Now, if you know that you can't take ashwagandha, you wouldn't take this, right? Of course you wouldn't. You wouldn't take it at all. Hang on a second. You wouldn't take it. If you know you have a sensitivity to rhodiola, you wouldn't take it. If you know you have a sensitivity to Shashandra, you wouldn't take it. But this one works really well. HPA Axis, 2 capsules twice a day. They have a patent on liquid gel caps. So this is actually a tincture inside a gel cap. So it works beautifully because tinctures work better than pills any day. Tinctures get straight to your system. Okay. So this is a liquid. Well, tinctures are liquid. So homeopathics are, as a rule, capsules. Tinctures are liquid. That's a tincture. A tincture has alcohol in it. Okay. So, and these are like liquid tinctures inside the capsule. So your tinctures, they also come in tinctures, which are all liquid bottles, these do. But most of my patients prefer not to do that because they have that alcohol taste to them. So they just put them right in here. Yeah, homeopathics are like in these little pellets that they break down. Those are homeopathic. Yep. And then they got some sugar in them. Yeah. Okay. That's how you treat your adrenals with nutrients. I know, right? Dang. This is why you need somebody to help you walk through this, to know what you need to do. And then your adrenals, right? What are the nutrients of the adrenals? B5, B6, vitamin C, vitamin E. Those are the big ones right there. B complex. Yeah. Magnesium is a little extra. Trace minerals extra. Okay. Iron.
Did you
a little
say
bit
zinc?
Extra. Zinc, that's part of your trace minerals in there. And then we can sometimes use, if patients have really low, like the lady tomorrow that I'm seeing who has just flat line cortisol levels, we can use adrenal glandulars, right? So things that have ground up adrenal glands in them. Adrenal cortex fractions is what I use. Actually, one more thing before I talk to you here. Cortisol. There's 2 things here that don't have any glandulars in them, and I wanted to share this with you. Both of these are from Zymogen, and they work amazing. And Brooke, I texted her right before. I said, okay, I want to give me the skinny on this. Adrenal Max. Adrenal Max is for people who have adrenal stress, right? It's N-acetylcysteine and tyrosine. Okay, so tyrosine is an amino acid. Also helps with your, somebody likes this, also helps with your thyroid. But these are for people who have the memory issues when they're going through stress, right? So I'm actually got a new patient tomorrow. I was reading her new patient paperwork today. She said, since my divorce in 2016, my memory has been shot. Bingo. She needs Adrenamax, apparently, which is going to help with your memory. Helps your memory when you're going through times of stress, okay? Don't have to have it forever. But cortisol is just like, apparently, it's just a very gentle for people who are under consistent stress. And it's just a little adrenal boost right here, but it doesn't have any, here you can you read that better than me? My glasses don't work well. It's got ashwagandha in it. It has magnolia in it. It has great things that just help calm down the adrenal system. It's just like a little, just use it every day. Relora, that's magnolia.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So then when we get into, those are your adrenal adaptogens and your herbs. And then you get into adrenal glandulars. Some people need adrenal glandulars. Most people do not. But the gal tomorrow, flatline, she needs a little kick of adrenal glandulars. Ground up adrenal glands. And you don't want to use this stuff unless you know for sure your adrenals are shot. And this is where I test. I don't put people on adrenal glandulars that I don't know for a fact don't have, or no, I don't know for a fact they don't have low cortisol. These are ground up adrenal glands from cows in Argentina, actually. So they are organic and they're glandular. So they're higher powered than your herbs or your nutrients, your minerals and things. And then ADR. This is a fabulous one. And I do use a lot of this one if I know you have low cortisol, because it's got ground up adrenal glands. It also has licorice. It has eleutherococcus. It has the ginseng in it. And it has pantothenic acid. And it is a fabulous one. It really is a good one, and it works well. But you don't use adrenal glandulars unless you know for sure. Now, for those of you that are wired but tired at night, right? You may have low cortisol, you may have high cortisol, doesn't matter to me, but your cortisol levels at night are probably pretty high, and you lay down and you're just wired up. This will be your best friend right here. For those of you who don't know this is Cortisol Manager. Holy cow. So my best friend in Kentucky is Trish. She's so funny. Probably about 3 years ago, she sent me a picture of this, and it said, oh my gosh, Dani, you have to sell this in your office. Cortisol Manager's my new best friend. And so I went to my front office, went and got a picture and texted it back to her and said, well, that's good, because I've sold it for years over here. I love it. And she was like, oh my gosh, this is for people who are wired but tired. Oh my Lord. It helps lower nighttime cortisol. And it also has, it's got phosphatidylserine in it. Phosphatidylserine is known to help lower nighttime cortisol, as is ashwagandha and magnolia. But also phosphatidylserine helps with memory. Okay, we give it to patients sometimes with early dementia, phosphatidylserine, and sometimes we do it just by itself, PS 150, just for patients who need a memory boost. We give it to them. But yeah, Cortisol Manager. I know there's several of you on here tonight who are watching this and who use Cortisol Manager. It works absolutely fantastic if you're wired but tired at night. Okay. And then you get into, oh my gosh, what are all the other hormones that your adrenals make? DHEA, pregnenolone, progesterone, all the sex hormones. DHEA is made in your adrenal glands, and then it converts to your sex hormones, mainly testosterone. DHEA you have to be careful with as well. I can't take DHEA. It makes me mean as a hornet. I've tried every form under the sun. I can't take it. I just cannot take DHEA. DHEA is the highest it's going to be in your 20s. And then it starts to decline. Now, it's really high in people who are like massive athletes. Probably you. You probably got a really high DHEA level, most likely. And then it starts to go down with age. But I've got a woman, she's 60-something years old, and she's a competitive tennis player, like in the senior circuit. And she takes a lot, like 50 milligrams or something, 25 to 50 milligrams a day of DHEA, and does beautiful with it because she burns through it. Wow. As a competitive tennis player. Usually it's 5 milligrams of DHEA for women, 5 to 10 milligrams, and anywhere from 25 to 200 milligrams for men. It just kind of varies. And then you've got pregnenolone, which is made in the adrenal cascade, right? As well as your ovaries and your testes, pregnenolone and progesterone. And we're not going to get into all that tonight, but that is a part of the adrenal cascade. Okay. Now, of course, because we've gone on and on. This is long. There's a lot of this tonight. Are your Sunday night services still on YouTube? Yes, they are, but it takes a couple weeks to get them transferred over there. You don't want to start any of this until you for sure rule out that your thyroid is not functioning poorly, right? That your B12 levels are okay, your D3, your magnesium levels, your iodine. You want to make sure you're not anemic. You want to make sure you don't have sleep apnea, like that snoring dog over there that won't shut up, all right? These are all things that contribute to adrenal dysfunction, or could be sleep apnea, or diabetes, or Lyme disease, or Epstein-Barr. It could be a million different things before it is adrenal dysfunction, okay? So you really want to work with somebody who knows how to tease these things out. Now, is B5, B6 going to hurt you? Absolutely not. Most likely not, but you want to talk to your provider first. They're probably going to give you a blank look. So in your lifestyle, you can't discount your lifestyle, right? If you're eating a bad diet, if you're not exercising, but when you have adrenal fatigue, you can't push it, right? You can't do CrossFit. You can't be heavy lifting weight training. Am I right?
Absolutely.
You have to do things like what she does. She does foundation training, which would work with anyone. You have to do yoga, Pilates, walking, things like that. Rebounders, fantastic for adrenal dysfunction.
Absolutely.
Yes. Non-competitive exercises, right? You have to learn to set boundaries, right? You have to set boundaries because people will teach you how to treat them. Hands down. If you don't set a boundary, you're going to get walked over for the rest of your life. Like really good carpet. They can walk on it for 30 years until you rip it up and start setting some boundaries and getting rid of the soul sucker people in your life. There is nothing wrong with doing that. I've done that multiple times in my life. You need to go to bed, right? Before 10. You need to sleep in the bed. Sleep and sex only in the bed. If you're not sleeping in the bed, then you need to get out of it, right? You got to laugh. You got to have community, right? Community is good. I'm telling you, you got to laugh. I mean, you have to. You got to learn to say no. You need to be grateful. And Tuesday, I'm the guest on a podcast. We recorded it last week at 6 a.m. on Jessica Ridley's new podcast called The Well, and it's on parenting well. And I'm talking about gratitude. You have to be grateful. You need to be grateful for something. You need to acknowledge that every day to your higher power, whomever it is, whether it's Jesus, whether it's whomever. You need to be grateful. You need to take your supplements, right? You need to find something pleasurable to do, right? So many of us, we get up, we go to work, we come home, we don't do anything. Find a hobby, do something. Live the life you were designed to live, people, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, God didn't make us just to get here, work balls to the wall for 50, 60 years and then drop dead. I mean, I want to pull into heaven like all beat up and bruised and wild hair and crazy and like, holy cow, that was fun. You know, you got to enjoy it. You got, look, I look like a nutcase over here. And you've got to believe in your recovery, right? You have to. But when we talk about food, we did not even get into food and adrenals. There are certain things you need to do with adrenals. We just barely touched the surface, but we've actually got 2 other episodes on cortisol over here. I'm a big believer in intermittent fasting, a huge believer in it with patients, but not with adrenal fatigue. You do not intermittent fast with adrenal fatigue because adrenal fatigue can be a hypoglycemic, can be a blood sugar problem. You need to eat. You do not need to be fasting with blood sugar issues, right? If possible, you need to eat breakfast by 8 a.m. or within an hour of getting up, right? We've got to restore the blood sugar levels that are dropped during the night. If you wake up in the night between 2 and 4:30 in the morning, many times that's blood sugar dropping, right? When blood sugar drops, guess what has to happen? Your cortisol has to shoot up and wake you up. Otherwise, you'll go into a diabetic coma in the night. Just like right here, if my blood sugar dropped, shaky, sweaty, sometimes irritable, sometimes nauseated, sometimes you vomit, sometimes you're disoriented. So same thing in the morning with adrenal problems. You need to replenish that, get the protein in your diet, in your body that morning. Also, eat a protein snack before you go to bed at night. Many people who wake up between 2 and 4:30, they haven't had enough protein during the day. So you're going to eat before 8.
Easy fix.
As a rule, you're going to eat around 9 o'clock, right? To soften the natural dip that cortisol that happens in the morning with cortisol. Going to eat lunch between 11 and 12 because your morning meal most likely has already been used up pretty quickly. You're going to eat a snack between 2 and 3, something with protein to get you through the natural dip that happens between 3 and 4 in the afternoon. Cortisol is the highest it's going to be when you wake up in the morning in the 24-hour circadian rhythm. It's up here at the top. And then it drops down at lunch, gets lower at dinner, and the lowest it's going to be at bedtime. Right now, 8, 9 o'clock, 10, 11 is when it's the lowest. Cortisol drops, melatonin rises in a perfect world. Well, we've messed that up, completely messed that up. You're going to make an effort to eat dinner between 5 and 6, the early bird special with the old people down in Florida, wherever they live, who go to the early bird special. And you're going to make that meal the lightest meal of the day, period. And then before you go to bed, which is going to be at least by 10 o'clock, you're going to eat a healthy protein, complex carb snack, something like that before you go to bed at night, okay? There's a lot to this. This is not easy, I'm telling you. Eat real food, chew your food well. Oh my goodness, we don't chew. We inhale our food.
And sit down
Oh, you can't stand up and eat. You have to sit
racing
down.
around. You sit down and eat your food.
If it takes you less than 15 minutes to eat your meal, you're creating systemic inflation in your body.
30 chews per bite. That's what I heard. Now that seems like torture.
You're supposed to even chew your soup.
Yes.
Maybe your wine. I don't know. I can't chew my wine. All right. But you got to chew. You got to chew, and you have to take the time to enjoy it, for crying out loud. Italy, France, we could keep going. It's been an hour. This goes by in a hurry. Mm-hmm. So if y'all have to log off, that's fine, and you can watch it later. But chew. Mm-hmm. Diet, sleep, exercise. Diet, sleep, exercise. Mm-hmm. Slow exercise. Somebody like Kelley who can work you through your adrenal stuff. What are you going to avoid? Getting overtired. Caffeine, sugar, alcohol, white flour, white sugar, white everything. Food-wise, all that. Coffee, even decaf, right? Staying up past 10. You got to get rid of the soul suckers. If your job is not serving you well, then find a stinking new job. Find new friends. Find a new spouse if you need to, or get rid of the old one. I'm not an advocate of divorce, but I'm telling you right now, people will kill you. The situation you're in at home, if it's not a godly, healthy situation, it is destroying your adrenals. And I think there's worse things than divorce, just like death. There's worse things than death, and there are worse things than divorce. I mean, I was grateful I got out of that marriage 15 years ago, and I don't regret anything about that. I'm not saying get a divorce. Do not send me nasty emails, text messages, Facebook, or anything that says I'm promoting divorce. I am not, but I am saying if you're not going to get out of it, then you're going to have to change the way you think about it, right? Because if somebody's killing you, if you choose to stay in it, that's your own thing. But I'm just telling you ahead of time, it's going to destroy your health. But it's just like a job. You can find a new job, or you can change the way you think about it as well. Don't be harsh on yourself. Don't be negative on yourself, right? Don't skip breakfast, and don't ever eat carbs by themselves, right? This is yours. This is gluten-free. I bought it for you. Gluten-free sourdough from Lucy. Oh my gosh, Lucy's Kitchen. It is hands down the best sourdough gluten-free I've ever had. There you go. Thank you for sitting here, right? Don't be perfect. If the house is dirty, if the floors are dirty, then by gosh, put socks on. Who cares? Mm-hmm. Who cares? You've got to cut yourself some slack and give yourself some grace, right? Absolutely. You have to give yourself grace. You're raising kids. You may be married. You may be in a good marriage. You may be in a bad marriage. I don't know, but you got to give yourself some grace, right? We can't do it all and do it well. You just can't. And you have to love on yourself, and you can't serve from it. You can't pour from an empty vessel. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So it's difficult. It's difficult to heal your adrenals. It's difficult to give yourself grace. It's difficult to believe that you are a child of the Most High King. Why is it so hard to believe that? Why is it so hard to believe that we deserve to be 150%? That we don't deserve to be abused, or to be yelled at, or to be stressed out, or to be overworked, underappreciated? Why do we tolerate it?
I think that's a whole nother episode.
Sure. But why? Why don't we? I mean, it took me a lot of years to figure out I'm not going through any of that anymore. And I am so much better for it. When you finally have the nerve to say, I'm done, stop. You're not abusing me anymore. You're not going to stress me out anymore. Or just saying no to being the room mom in 3rd grade, or baking the brownies or the gluten-free cupcakes that have to be dairy-free, sugar-free, gluten-free, nut-free, free of every grain, free of everything, whatever. Just say no, I can't do it. There's nothing wrong with saying no, ever. The book, The Best Yes, is one of my all-time favorites, and it is on setting boundaries, and it's not about saying no. It's about what's the best yes for you and your family, and it is a phenomenal book. Lisa Turkhurst wrote that book, okay? So enjoy the holiday season. I cannot believe it is Thanksgiving on Thursday. That's a massive fast hour and 10 minutes on adrenals. Every bit of this in the office. If you want to come see us, I can go. We can go. The girls can go over all this with you if you live locally. If not, then you know, you can look online and all that stuff, and we can help you with it. But I know that was fast, but adrenals, you've got to nourish your adrenals, especially during the holidays, because we are so stressed out. This is supposed to be a great time of season, celebrating friends and family and Jesus and new beginnings and new years and all the great things. And we are so stressed over it every single year. I just want it to end. I just want it to end. This year, I'm so excited. I can't wait.
That's
I planned the Dotted Lime is catering my Christmas party this year. I got all the menus settled today for it. I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready to put my tree up. I got in the attic today. I'm just ready. And I'm never ready for any of this because I'm always so freaked out. But just enjoy it. Love on everybody. Who cares if it doesn't get done? Nobody cares. Right? People just want to be with you and be together.
True.
Right?
True.
Next week, no, I'm sorry, 10 days, November 30th is the Hashimoto's Christmas party. If you have Hashimoto's, come to the Christmas party. It's
Dr.
a potluck.
Deering, right?
Dr. Justin Deering is going to be our guest
He's your
speaker.
guy.
I am so excited. He is, today is the first day in 8 weeks that I have not had one bit of vertigo, not one bit. He helped it about 99%, but he didn't take it away. And I went and saw him 2 days ago, completely gone as of today. So I'm hoping it stays there. So we have gift certificates. I'm so excited. We have brand new gift certificates at the office if anybody needs gift certificates. Also, those of you who saw my video yesterday, we're going to be selling Carolyn's cookies, gluten-free cookies at the office. I am ordering them for the office. They should be here in about 2 weeks. She has Down syndrome, and 6 years ago, she wanted to do something other than wipe tables at Cracker Barrel. She said special needs people can do more than wipe tables at Cracker Barrel. Is what she told me yesterday at the Franklin Fair. And she started this company with her mom in Brevard, North Carolina, exactly where Gaia Herbs is. In fact, they supply, I didn't know this. I said, I've been to Brevard multiple times. I go to Gaia's farms and traipse around their ashwagandha. She said, we take cookies to Gaia every month. They do, they give a birthday party for their employees every month, and they use Carolyn's cookies. We're going to be selling her cookies for Christmas. I want every one of you to come buy cookies from me that I bought from her, because we're going to, I told her, I said, you're going to have to work overtime, because when my tribe knows that something is important, they come out in droves. And I've had so many emails from you guys about her cookies. I am so excited. They were amazing. That's awesome. They're not dairy free and they're not sugar free. So if you have dairy or sugar issues, which we all have sugar issues, but what great stocking stuffers, you know?
That's awesome.
I know. So Kelley, tell us what you do at
what do?
Kelley Shannon Wellness. No, you have a whole business. You make your whole living off of wellness and fitness.
Well, sort of. So yeah, it is exciting, right? To be able to partner with you and just maybe allow people or explore hope with people when they're feeling so bad.
Yeah, but what is it you do? Tell them what you do for a living.
So I'm a personal trainer, but I say it's kind of personal training with a twist, because I don't really just do personal training. So talking about CrossFit, and I was that trainer that I just have super high energy, and it was a lot of the times super high stress exercise that didn't necessarily produce wonderful results, right? So I've backed off and I've had some great mentors and done a lot of research and exploring ways to help people better using what we have. So like you said, exercise can also be a stressor, a huge stressor to people.
Yep,
so
it sure can.
Really understanding where people are at is really important. So like you said, walking, yoga, stretching, rebounding, light calisthenics, even lightweight training. I have a machine at my studio. We call it the Rejuvenator. It's a way to be still, but yet allow the muscle pumping action that exercise provides without stressing the body even further. Grounding. We didn't talk about that.
No, we didn't talk about that.
Talked about, walking, but take your shoes and socks off and go find some grass and connect with the earth. The earth has negative ions. It's totally free, costs you nothing to do, and has so many great healing
I'm going to the
factors
beach
it.
Wednesday for Thanksgiving. And so my
Yeah,
feet will be
perfect.
in the
In the
ocean
sand.
on the sand.
Mhm.
That's right.
Perfect.
So
Perfect,
tell
perfect.
them where you are and what your phone number
I'm
is.
on General George Patton in Brentwood, 615-319-1134. I'm the only
put her
certified trainer for foundation training in the state of Tennessee.
And
it's
it
a
will
great
kick
core workout.
your butt.
Actually, I just placed a video on your page about how to do an 8-point plank. So a little bit of a challenge for everybody. If you have a floor, get on the floor and do it. That's all you need. You need a floor. That is all.
You bet. So it's actually not on this page. It's on the Inside Out Healing from Within group page. If you're not on that group, I highly recommend you ask to join. That's a great group. I started about 5 years ago. It's got a lot of people on it. Way more, about 3 times more than this page has on it. It's a private community though. So she posted a great video on or a picture. I don't know if it's video or
it's a
picture.
video.
Yeah, it's a video on that eight-point plank, and it
which
is
you did. I have a picture of you doing it.
Oh yeah. There's a picture of me doing it. It will rock your world. So Kelley is phenomenal. She is incredible too. If you are like me, 50 plus, she knows how to really work with women who, because it's completely different what you do with us and what you do with the 20-year-old.
Absolutely.
And so I think, and Kelley's been in this industry for how many years?
20 years.
20 years. So she's not some 22-year-old who just got certified, who's pushing a 55-year-old to hurting them. Because I sit and listen to women every week who tell me they got hurt by their trainer.
Yeah.
And it's sad because they don't listen. And we are different than a 20-year-old.
Absolutely.
Right? So Kelley Shannon
Wellness.
We'll post her
Facebook.
number. It's Kelley Shannon Wellness. Go like her page. Her phone number's on there. You can go see her. She's got a infrared sauna like I do at the office. She has the rejuvenator. I'm telling you, the girl will bust your butt. One thing before we leave. If you are going to eat gluten and dairy this weekend, oh my gosh, you need this. If you're not going to eat, if you don't have a sensitivity to dairy, you don't need these. These are gluten and dairy enzymes. This is Metagenics right here, Spectrazyme. This enzyme is absolutely fantastic to block the gluten. If you accidentally got glutened, I would not go anywhere, and I don't go anywhere without these in my purse. These are in little packages. These are gluten dairy enzymes that block gluten and dairy, and I just put the whole bottle in my purse. So I was just letting you know about these because this is an option, because I do realize that parents don't understand and aunts and uncles don't understand when you can't eat gluten and dairy and, you know, you're the freak in it. So that's why we're doing seafood this year for Thanksgiving in Florida. Yeah.
Well, it kind of goes with the territory.
All right, guys, we're so way over. It's not even funny, and I apologize, and I'm sorry we ran over. And yes, Shelby says yes to grounding. Got to get recharged.
Yes.
So yes, you do.
Awesome. Super easy and way cheap.
Guys, I will, as soon as we log off, I will answer your messages or your post individually on here on Facebook. But we love you guys. We will not be here next week. And then, because that's Thanksgiving weekend. And then the weekend after that, hopefully he'll be back and we'll be talking about gratitude. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. That was a lot. I hope you took a lot of notes. And, yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I'm so excited you were here. Oh my gosh. I just love her. She's great. I'm telling you, she's smart. And she loves the fermented farmer Todd.
I love the fermented Todd. Carrie, I love you.
He's not on here. He doesn't know me.
He lives in Summertown.
I know,
I don't
but
even
he doesn't
think
know who I am. Yeah, I don't think they have any internet.
I introduced you to him.
Yeah, no, but he doesn't know who I am.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't know who I think
Hi,
I am.
Todd. Hi, Carrie. Love you.
All right, guys. We love you. All right, bye. Have a good Thanksgiving.